Hey, Shalom, Akim Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, a great millstone that taught us his truth, and that's so teaching his truth, and much peace, love, and salutation to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, all the way down to the large multitude that believes, and who the Lord will deliver in these last days. To you all I say Shalom. I'm the brother Tazamah from the Great Millstone Dallas Camp, coming back today with another lesson, and Lord willing, today this lesson will be edifying. Today's lesson is going to be entitled, It's commanded for us to reprove and rebuke. Alright, it's commanded for us to reprove and to rebuke. And really just inspiration of this lesson came by way of some reading I was doing the other day. And a lot of these, a lot of times where you have a lot of camps that may, make particular points about Great Millstone, about how we're always quote unquote hating, or we're always getting on other camps, and it's really a commandment for us to do that. It's a commandment for us to preach the word, and what comes along with preaching is exhortation, rebuke, and reproof. Because if rebuke and reproof doesn't happen, all right, first and foremost, then blood is still on our hands when it's all said and done, as it says in Ezekiel the 3rd chapter. If you don't go out there and preach, specifically preach the truth, then you have blood on your hands. But if you go out there and you see, you see somebody going off, for example, teaching the hell doctrine, or teaching that the Sabbath falls on the new moon, or excuse me, not the Sabbath, that was a slip of the tongue, that the new moon is the full moon and the full moon is the new moon, because the Sabbath does fall on the new moon, of course. But when you got them teaching it backwards, or that the name of the Lord doesn't matter, you can have sex on the Sabbath, all these various different things. John the Baptist felt the truth, and one of the main things is that the MOTB is not the micro C-hip, and the MOTB is sin. And then you got them changing, saying that the MOTB is an embargo, it's a democracy. You got as if you put it in your right hand, and your forehead as if you think about it, and you make the action with your hand. That's you having the MOTB, which doesn't make any sense. How could that action stop you from buying and selling? If that's the case, then we all would have the MOTB, and none of us would be able to make it if you just use logic. But Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai set up his prophets, all right, the priest, okay, to go out there, all right, and to rebuke and to reprove. And rebuking and reproving is nothing. It's something, I rather say, that's frowned upon. They look at it as hating. They look at it as y'all hating. Why y'all hating? And that's a really a niggerish mindset. That's a mindset that comes from the world, where rebuke and reproof is a part of our heritage. It's something that we're commanded to do in the law. As a matter of fact, before I read that, before I get the first precept, let me actually go here real quick in Leviticus, real quick. I want to read it in the GNT. I never read it in the GNT before. Leviticus 19 and 17. All right, this is Leviticus chapter 19. It's verse 17. Let's see. Let me verify real quick. Just give me 1 second. 19. Yeah. All right. So let's read it in the GNT, and then we'll read it in the NLT and KJV. We'll read it in all three. All right. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. It says, "Do not bear a grudge against others, but settle your differences with them, so that you will not commit a sin because of them." Let's read that again. Do not bear a grudge against others. And you have Jake that bears grudges against others due to the fact that somebody could be correcting them upon something that they're going off on. It really is true love. All right, really it shows forth true love whenever you let somebody know where they're slipping and where they're going off. But in this society that we live in, when you tell somebody, where they're going off on, or where you tell somebody where they could be wrong or where they could err, they look at that as you hating. They look at that as, why you hating? Let me do me. And then they start bearing grudges and start just talking all kinds of shit and going off the handle, and making all kinds of slanders and all kinds of lies, when really, I'm looking out for you. The spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, beginning with our apostles and elders on down, okay, is upon us to say these things, because ultimately it shows true love, man. But if you reject it, as the scripture says, the Most High will reject thee. So it says, do not bear a grudge against others, but settle your differences with them, so that you will not commit a sin because of them. You see that? So if you don't go out there and say anything, you're really committing transgression against Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Let's read this in the NLT to the right here. It says, "Do not nurse hatred in your heart for any of your relatives. Confront people directly so that you will not be held guilty for their sin." You see that? And when you confront somebody directly, is it not always the most comfortable thing to do? You know, it's not always fun. You know, sometimes if you're a person that, you know, that's more so, you know, in a sense low key, you know, it could be uncomfortable to be direct. But Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai commands us to be direct. But when you are direct, it hashes out things more simple. You know, it's no circumlocution happening, and ain't no talking around in circles when you just come head first, straight and direct with something. You know, you can iron out a lot of things. But that's just something that wasn't really taught to us growing up. You know, it says confront people directly so you will not be held guilty for their sin. And then, of course, in the KJV, it says, "Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." And then when you get this word rebuke in the Hebrew, all right, that word rebuke in the Hebrew is yakach. Okay, yakach. And that word rebuke, it says wakach. All right, but it says decide, adjudge, prove. You see, because realistically, when you have the men of the Lord, when you have the prophets out on the highways and byways and on the videos saying things, it's really Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai testing the integrity of the individual who's being God on. Do you believe that it's Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai commanding and warning you through that man, or are you looking at it? Are you looking at it as that man himself saying these things, and this man just hating? He just mad because my garment. He's just mad because my garment's more fly than his. You know, he's just mad because, you know, he got a bigger congregation. My congregation is bigger than his, so, you know, he's just mad. You know, he really just mad because, you know, we on the up and up, and they really just staying the same. They just pissed off and mad, so they gotta just say something about it. You know. Nah, do you believe that Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is with that man in judgment or not? As a matter of fact, let's see if I can find this precept. I know it's in Chronicles. Let's see, Lord with judgment or something like that. Here we go. 2 Chronicles 19:6. It says, we'll start at verse 5. It says, "And he set judges in the land throughout all the fenced cities of Judah, city by city," which is a commandment. All right, we're supposed to have judges in every city. It says, "And said to the judges, take heed what ye do, for ye judge not for man." You see, we don't judge for man, you know, and there's no respect of persons with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai when it comes to judging. Okay, so it says, "For ye judge not for man, but for Yahweh, who is with you in the judgment." You see that? Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai is with his prophets, and he's with his men in the judgment. You see? So when you got somebody going off saying that, you know, hell is this place where these spirits go, you know, and you know, they're being tormented forever, Israelite spirits, where the scriptures clearly tell you that all Israel shall be saved ultimately at the end of the day when it's all said and done. But there's this place where you got all these, you know, you got these people, your relatives, your family, you know, Jake, that, you know, all these people, they're just gonna be burning forever, but the heathen are gonna be in the kingdom of heaven, building it up and being there. And, you know, the rest of the heathen nations is going to be there, you know, and they're settled in their lots. But you're going to have Israelites, though, they're going to be in this place burning forever. That doesn't make any sense, you know. And I'm just using hell as an example because that's the topic of that's been really the topic of discussion as of lately. You see, so Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai set up the judges to go out there and to reprove, because realistically it's Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai judging. It's Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai reproving. Okay, let's grab 2 Timothy. Let's go down here and see. Yeah, so let's go to 2 Timothy 4 real quick. This is 2 Timothy 4, and we'll start at verse 1. It says, "I charge thee therefore before the Most High, and the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season. You see, and that's another thing. You got a lot of, you have some camps. I'm not going to say a lot, but you do have some camps that don't go out. All right, whenever it's too cold outside. One thing that we've been taught here at Great Millstone, seeing our apostles and our elders and learning from their example, is that it doesn't matter. All year round, you have this word going out 24/7. Versus, you hanging it up whenever the fall and the winter seasons come. You hang up the garments, and then you don't go out there on the highways and byways. That's not what the Lord commanded us to do. Okay? The scripture says that the sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. It also tells you that living waters will come out from Jerusalem in the summer and in the winter. In Zechariah, I want to say it's the 13th chapter. Okay, so it says preach the word, and to preach and to prophesy is pretty much the same thing, by the way. So it says preach the word, be instant. Pretty much being instant pretty much means to be ready. All right. It says be instant in season, out of season. Reprove. All right, let's get the definition of reprove here. That word reprove is elenko. All right, elenko. It says by word to reprehend severely. You see, to reprehend severely, chide, admonish, reprove. Because when you reprimand somebody severely, or when you chide severely, or if you admonish severely, that puts the fear in others to want to get right. It's just like the laws, according to particular laws that we have. For example, if a man and a woman was caught in the act of if a man and a woman was caught in the act of adultery, for example, if a man went to go sleep with another man's wife, or a woman stepped out on her husband and went to go have sex with another man, according to the law, that man and that woman would have to be brought out amongst the congregation, amongst the people, and they would be stoned in front of the gate. But with that stoning, what that would do is, all right, that would bring forth fear amongst the congregation to show forth and say, like, look, I'm not going to go out there and do that, because this is the judgment that will come behind this action. Homosexuality, it says that the one thing that you read, it says that their blood shall be upon them. And that's a literal thing. And the scripture says, rebuke them sharply. Let me find that real quick. Rebuke sharply. I want to say it's 1 Timothy 2:15 or 2 Timothy 2. Okay, I was wrong. Titus 1:13. This is Titus chapter 1, verse 13. It says, this witness is true. Wherefore, it says, this witness is true. Wherefore, rebuke them sharply. Let's read this let's actually finish this up. I'm going to get that in blue letter. I'm going to get that word sharply, and we'll do it that way. So it says, by word to reprehend severely, chide, admonish, or reprove. And I want to say this, Jude 1:22, it tells you that you pretty much you're pulling from the fire. Let's see. Actually, let's read this. It says, and some have compassion, making a difference. All right, that's really just a part of the verse there. Just kind of curious to see what these precepts here say. This is another good one. This is another good one. All right, 1 Timothy 5:20. Them that sin rebuke before all. You see that? Those that sin, those that transgress, you rebuke them before all. And how you rebuke them before all, okay, is that, that's the reason why we do these videos. We don't do these videos we don't wake up, with the heart on just to get on the IUIC and just do a video on them every single day. We just ain't waking up with IUIC on our mind. What video am I going to do? What video am I going to do on the IUIC today? Nah. We do these videos and we bring these things out. We speak about these things on the highways and hedges and on the internet, because you have a lot of listeners that are still listening. You got a lot of people, who are finding out that they're Israelites. So they're hearing particular things about Great Millstone. They're hearing particular things by the IUIC. They're hearing particular things by the ISUPK. They're hearing particular things about from the Sakari, HOI, WFI, so on and so forth. All these different camps. They're hearing particular teachings. Now, the way that you decide, not you decide, but the way I rather say that you discern between who's teaching the truth and who's teaching the lie is that you got to ultimately go back to what the scriptures say. If somebody's clearly telling you that you can have sex on the Sabbath, And the scriptures tell you not to profane the Sabbath because, you pretty much, because when you have sex, you make yourself unclean. You got to go. That's what the scriptures say. It ain't about emotions. It ain't about what makes me feel good. No, this is what the scriptures say versus what somebody else is trying to say. You see, that's what makes a difference between the church in Berea and all the other different churches, because the church of Berea, they pretty much searched out what the Apostle Paul was saying, and they went and searched it up themselves to see whether them things that they were saying were true or not. And we're commanded to do the same things. Whenever the apostles and bishops and elders say particular things, you think that we just take their word for it? They teach us not to take their word for it just off the top. They'll say do the research, look it up. They'll literally tell you, look it up for yourself. When you look it up, lo and behold, it'll be right there. You see? But that teaches you to think that teaches you to think as a man in this thing, man. Not to be, not to be no child in this thing or no zombie. That's why the Apostle Tahar, that's why he calls those people at the IUIC, he calls them men zombies, man. Because everything what Bishop Nathaniel says and on down, they take it without even doing any research themselves, man. Does not the scripture say? But be in understanding, be ye men. Let's get that real quick. Let's get that. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20, it says, brethren, be not children in understanding. You see, you're not to be children and immature, if you will, in understanding. Okay? What the scripture says is what the scripture says, man. If the script, when we brought out this through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, when the law on grape was brought out, everybody and their mama got all butt hurt, and men started be acting like females and just started getting all in their emotions and started making up all these accusations, all because we brought out an ancient law, an ancient custom according to the scriptures. And then now they call us rapists, and then they went as far as to say that we raping little girls and that we having sex with little girls, and then they brought out and said that we're doing it with little boys. They at one point was saying that we grape babies. That they at one point said that. Ultimately because they're in their understanding, they're still children in understanding. That you can't read the scriptures and you can't look at the Bible with a westernized Babylonian mindset. You gotta look at the scriptures through an Eastern lens, man. Okay? The scripture says, remember this and show yourselves men. You gotta be a man in this thing, man. And you can't allow, your emotions to override the laws of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. There are particular laws that you read, if you would see it in this world, in this day and age, you would be like, damn. But even at that, but the laws, if they were implemented in our society right now, the world would be a lot better place. The world would be a lot better place if all if those committing adultery and moles, according to the scriptures, were dealt with. Public stonings and things of that nature. That would be that. Hey, man, shit. You would have a lot of people that would have way more act rate. I can tell you that much. You'll have a lot more order, and you'll have a lot more order in homes and families, within marriages between men and women, and then also to your children will be more on point. If the world that we live in right now, kept up with the land, having a land Sabbath, and the earth, of course, would flourish, man. That's why the scripture says that not the law of slack, not that one, but in Isaiah the 24th chapter, it says let me just get it real quick, man. Salakia. Let me just get it real fast. I don't want to idly speak. I'm just making a point. Isaiah 24. Right. Isaiah 24 verse 5, it says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Now, who's ruling the earth right now? Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, the Edomites. They're ruling the earth right now. The earth was given into the hands of the wicked, right? Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. You see, since the laws aren't being operated here, which it's not supposed to, because the wicked are bearing rule, the people are mourning, the whole earth is out of whack. And with the whole earth being out of whack, you have Israelites that are still looking at this, they're still looking at the Bible through a lens of the Western world, through an Edomite lens, and it doesn't work that way. So when you got men rebuking and reproving and correcting according to the right way, according to the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, seeking out the old path, as the scripture says, man, let's get that real quick. Jeremiah 6 and 16. Let's get that real quick. This is Jeremiah 6 and 16. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, stand ye in the ways, and see, and ask for the old paths." You see, Jake is offended at the old paths. Jake are offended at the ancient way. Okay? That word old is Iwalam. Okay? Iwalam. And when you get that definition there, it says the ancient gates. You see that? And what is who stood at the ancient gates? The judges. Okay? The leaders. All right, it says ancient time, days of old, and it's not Yahweh Bashem Yahushai establishing up and rising up judges as in the days of old. Okay, so it says, "Stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way?" You see, the good way is the ways of what the scriptures say, "And walk therein, and ye shall find rest for your souls." You see? You shall find rest for your souls. But Jake doesn't want to find rest. Jake wants to find rest for their souls here in Babylon. Jake doesn't want to find no rest. Jake doesn't want to find rest for their souls in submitting underneath the yoke of Yahushai. As Yahushai said, he said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for my burden is light." He said, for I am lowly and meek, and my burden is light, and ye shall find rest for your souls. He said that, for lack of better words. Matthew the 11th chapter. That's where you find rest. And the way that you find rest in Yahushua is by following the men that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua set up, which the men that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua set up are commanded to reprove and rebuke. It's a commandment. It says, "But they said we would not walk therein." You see, and that's Jake. Beginning with those that know that they're Israelites. We don't want to walk there. We don't want to walk in that way. We want to do our own thing. You know, how dare you? How dare you tell us how to run our congregation? How dare you try to tell us how to teach the scriptures? That's how they look at it. This isn't the way that we want. We want to do what we want to do. And every time that Jake has that idea or that mindset, look, we want to do what we want to do. You know? Let us be. You know? We got this. Jake always ends up falling. Excuse me. So it says, "Preach the word, be instant in season, out of season." 2 Timothy 4:2. It says, "Reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine." You see, we're to reprove, rebuke, and exhort, which exhortation, all right, is pretty much like encouragement. It says with all long suffering, which is patience, and doctrine. Okay, having sound doctrine. Okay, the doctrine that we have been taught. That's where we reprove and rebuke. We're not reproving and rebuking due to our emotions and due to our feelings. We are reproving and rebuking according to the doctrine, what the doctrine says. If you're not going, if your doctrine doesn't line up to what the scriptures say, then our job is to get on you. Okay. Just like any of us, if we went off the handle and said that the MOTB is shit, I don't know. You know, the MOTB, the MOTB is I don't know, Jesus Christ, whatever. John 3:16, as you know, as a damn, I forgot the guy. I forgot his name. Zabak, you know, as he once pretty much said, you know, if we started teaching that, then you know it will be others' job to correct that, because we'll be going off. Okay. Verse 3, it says for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. You see that? So this is why preaching in rebuke and reproving and exhortation is so important, because the time would come when they would not endure sound doctrine, correct doctrine. Okay? The things of what the scriptures tell us and command us to do. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. You see that? So you're going to have a lot of individuals that are going to come with this whole world friendly, this reputitious, this doctrine that's solely based upon having a good reputation with the world. So they're gonna. It says that they would. It says after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Man, you know, hell is an itching ear. You know, but what comes with teaching this doctrine? It comes with the garments. It comes with the festivities. It comes with the luxurious Passovers. It comes with the barbecues. It comes with the burgers and the fringes. It comes with this. It comes with that. The music videos. It all comes with that. It comes with the cadences. You know. But the scriptures say that these things would happen, man. Let's get Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah 5. Jeremiah 5, and let's start at verse 29. It says, shall not I visit for these things, saith Yahweh? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? You see, because the Lord getting ready to do very, very high level damage, all right, to the nation of Israel, man. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is getting ready to bring high level damage, all right, and high level judgments to the nation of Israel. But he's going to begin at his sanctuary, as it's written. And beginning at the Lord's sanctuary is beginning at those that know that they're Israelites. Okay, it says a wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. Right? This is a shocking thing that's done amongst our people. It says the prophets prophesy falsely and the priests bear rule by their means. You see that? To bear rule. All right, it says the priests bear rule by their means. All right, bear rule is Radah. Okay, Radah. It says have dominion, rule, dominate. You see? And there's plenty of examples of how men, you know, dominate over their congregation unrighteously. You know? I'm talking pretty much people getting shook down for tithes, you know, charging for Hebrew names and charging for prayers. You know? All this madness, man. That's being lords over the flock, which, you know, that we're not to be lording over the flock. That doesn't even really truly belong unto us. Now, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua did set up shepherds, but Yahweh Shai is the chief shepherd. Okay, Jeremiah 5 and 31, it says, namely, gifts. What is gifts? Selling out, taking the bag, money. Figurative for making gain, pretty much for filthy lucre's sake, man. And it's been evidently shown that you have Israelite camps out there who have taken the bag, man. Who have literally look at what happened with the ICGJC in Tazadak or Tazadakia. That's a clear example, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua took his ass out. You know, because he completely flipped up the doctrine, called himself the God-sent comforter. And here it is, the Lord had him die on so-called April Fool's Day, because that dude was a fool. Not that we believe in April Fool's Day, but you know everything's ironic. So it says the prophets prophesy falsely and the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. See, Jake loves it. Jake would love to be fed lies. Jake would love to, you know, to be said, you know, to be given the smooth things as it's written. Prophesy unto us smooth things, prophesy deceits. You know? It says, and what will ye do in the end thereof? So when the end comes, when all these things come to an end, when these MOTB stations get set up worldwide, when all these things happen, what are you going to do at that time? Whenever, because this whole time you was scoffing. This whole time you wasn't paying attention. You wasn't taking heed. What you going to do at that time, man? You going to try to get with the program then? No, we going to say go to the sellers and buy. So verse 3, 2 Timothy 4 and 3, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth. You see? Jake's ears will be turned away from the truth on a high level. It'll be a high level of apostasy going on. And just look the definition up for yourself. Apostasy. Okay? As a matter of fact, let's just get the definition real quick. Apostasy. Apostasy, right? It says late 14th century apostasy, renunciation, abandonment or neglect of established religion. Now, our established religion, all right, is learning about Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua via the law, statutes, and commandments, and the prophets, the prophecies, and the writings. And the truth did come out of one West. Okay? But when you got people changing up the doctrine, at one point teaching the name, but now they ain't teaching the name. Now, at one point, they wasn't teaching hell, now they're teaching hell. You know, teaching that you're not to have sex on the Sabbath. You're not to really, we in the Sabbath right now. But you got people amongst their congregation right now probably getting it in. Who knows? Well, realistically, probably not, because they still follow the Friday night, Saturday night Sabbath. But y'all get what I'm saying. It says from late Latin apostasia, from later Greek apostasia, from earlier apostasis, revolt. Okay, defection. You see, you're revolting against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You're rebelling against Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and that's the sin of witchcraft. Because ultimately, you got witches that are set up amongst your congregation. You know, it's really like an enchantment. Okay, literally a standing off from apostania, from apostanai, to stand away. See, apostate, abandonment of what one has professed. You see, you abandon the teachings and the doctrine, all right, that was once taught unto you. So it says, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth and shall be turned unto fables. And hell is just a fable. You see, hell is nothing more than just a concept that was brought into our, our heritage during the time of the Hellenization period of the Greeks. And they added the whole, Hades and Tartarus, and then you read about Homer, and Odyssey, the river Styx, and then you go to this, you go to Minos and this judge, and he judges you, and then you go to there's different stages of hell, that all goes back to Hellenization, man. So when you think about it, when you got an Israelite group teaching about a place called hell, that lets you know who they are in the reincarnation. These are nothing more than just the Sadducees just back again. That's realistically what it is. Okay, verse 5, it says, but watch thou in all things. You see, so our job is to watch. Be very, very vigilant. So when we see these things and we see these clips, it's really Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai showing us these things so that we can do our job. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry. And this is how you make full proof of our ministry, man. So that ultimately there's not going to be any blood on our hands, Lord willing. Okay? Titus 2:15, I'm getting ready to wrap it up. Titus 2:15, it says, these things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. You see that? We're to rebuke with all authority. And Jake doesn't like the authority that, beginning with the apostles and elders on down, they don't like the authority that they that we come in. They didn't like Yahweh's authority. When Yahweh would speak, it was like, man, he doesn't teach like the scribes and he doesn't teach like the scribes and Pharisees. This man teaches with power. He teaches with authority. Because that's the same spirit that we come in. All right, that word authority is epitege. All right, and that word authority, it says an injunction, mandate, command. You see, it's mandated to teach that the MOTB is the microCHIP, and if you don't teach it, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai ain't dealing with you. These things are mandated. These things are commands, man. You see? That's why when you, like I said, beginning with the apostles and elders on down, when you hear them talk about, the MOTB, it's like, look, if you say the MOTB is anything other than the microCHIP, then the Lord ain't dealing with you. And people will hear that, man, who gives you the right to say that? Who gives you the right? Well, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai gives us the right. Because he's with us in judgment. So it says, let no man despise thee. You see? And that goes for everybody, man. Okay? 1 Timothy 4:13. All right, it says, till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, to doctrine. You see, these are the things that we're to give attendance to. When you give attendance to something, that means that you're constant. That means that you're present. You're present and you're present when it comes to reading. You're present when it comes to exhortation. You're present when it comes to teaching the correct doctrine. You're present. You're there. Okay? Last scripture. 1 Timothy 5 and 20. Right. 1 Timothy 5:20 says, them that sin rebuke before all. Them that sin, what is sin? Transgress the law. Okay? And there's many transgressions and many sins that you can do. You see? So it says, them that sin rebuke before all. You correct before all, that others also may fear. Let's read this in the NLT. Those who sin should be reprimanded in front of the whole church. This will serve as a strong warning to others. And that was the point that I was making earlier about how in the ancient world, if a particular judgment came, and let's say you had to get stoned, it will be done in front of the whole congregation. Okay? Verse 21, it says, I solemnly command you in the presence of the Most High Yahweh and Hamashiach Yahweh Shai and the highest angels to obey these instructions without taking sides or showing favoritism to anyone. You see, it ain't about taking sides. It ain't about, being respective persons or partiality. No, that's not what it's about, man. You see, we're not to take sides. We're to take the side of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And if you don't take the side of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, then you against Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. Those that are not with me are against me, as Yahweh Shai said. Okay? It ain't about taking one side and things of that nature, Like you had Alazar from the Sakari over here, talking about Bishop Nathaniel. See, the reason why Tahar really is mad is because his understudy is actually more popular than him, and he's just mad because Great Millstone is dwindling, but the IUIC is actually flourishing. But he ain't reprimanding the IUIC and Bishop Nathaniel about the doctrines that they teach. Because it's all about numbers with these guys. It's all about fame. It's all about, filling their own belly. That's what it's all about. It ain't about the doctrine. It's about how popular can I be? How popular can I be being an Israelite in America? How popular can I be? That's the main idea. That's the main thought process for a majority of so-called Israelite leaders. That's the main majority thought in their head is how can I make myself to be the number one guy? How can I make myself to be more popular? When this thing ain't about no popularity contest. We have been brought here and we have been commanded by Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai to teach the word. That's what we have been commanded to do. Rebuke, reprove, and exhort with all long suffering. Point blank period, man. Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem Chakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that's for teaching this truth. And much peace, love, and salutation to the elect. Until next time, Lord willing, I'll say shalom.